this is the book I'm reading. Can you see the cover of the book?
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
Okay, so it's called Naughty Eddie Larue. There was once a boy named Eddie Larue who lived with his mummy and sister Sue. He had curly brown hair and was small in size, a boy with huge and innocent eyes. He looked like an angel from heaven for true, but this was no angel, this Eddie Larue. No, this boy was mischievous, tricky, and wild, a most precocious and troublesome child. It worried his mummy and sister Sue. They didn't quite know just what they should do. I can't tell what goes on in your head, young Larue, his mummy would tell him. I hope that you do. Eddie loved to get into things he should not. One time he got into Ma's cooking pot. She had just begun making rice and peas when she started to sneeze. She went to find tissues to blow her nose, and it took her a while to find some of those. Well, when she came back, she kept right on cooking with no thought of trouble. No, not even looking. Then, just when she thought her peas were done boiling, she peeped in the pot and saw everything spoiling. For Eddie had added some special things too, like 3 bars of soap, a rock, and some glue. He'd thrown in brown paper and an old dirty sock, and a few dozen chips of a new concrete block. When Mummy saw this, she was very upset. She called Eddie and said, "Son, you did this, I bet." "Don't look at me, Mommy. No, what did I do? I wasn't there. It must have been Sue. I was out in the yard with the boys from next door. They were showing me toys that they brought at the store. It wasn't me, Mom, but I think you should know. I saw Sue in the kitchen a moment ago." Then, another time when young Larue was still small, he and his mother went to the mall. Mommy decided to try on a new dress and came back to find the most horrible mess. Eddie had knocked all the clothes from the racks and made piles of shirts and dresses and slacks. Then he jumped from one pile to the next and the next. When the clerks saw the clothes, they were terribly vexed. They charged his mother, and she paid what was due, then said many words to young Eddie Larue. At age 5, he climbed up a coconut tree. Right up to the top, it was something to see. He was so short, and the tree was so tall. No one could guess how he did it at all. But there he was at the top, all right, gazing down and frozen with fright. And it was only when he began to cry that Sue came outside and saw him up high. She screamed for her mother to come right away, and when Mommy saw him, she started to pray. Well, just about then, a man from nearby said he'd get to the boy, at least he would try. Climb there he did in a minute or two and safely brought down young Eddie Larue. Mommy asked him, "Eddie, what got into you? If you'd fallen from there, there'd be one less Larue." Well, he looked up at her with his big round eyes and cunningly told her the biggest of lies. "Why, Mommy? When I climbed that tree, I climbed it for you. It wasn't for me. Sue said you were making a coconut pie, and I didn't know that was a lie. She said I should pick you a coconut, and I thought it a little bit cooler, but I went up the tree as fast as I could and threw one down like she said I should." So once again, Sue was the one who was blamed, and Eddie was not the least bit ashamed. But the worst thing of all, the worst by far, was the time Eddie painted the pastor's new car. Pastor drove up one day in a car of dark blue, so shiny and clean, it clearly was new. Mommy said it looked lovely. Sue said it looked great. Eddie wanted to ride, but was told he should wait. For Pastor was busy, he had things to do, the first of which was to see Mistress Larue. He had come to their house to discuss with their mother Eddie's constant misdeeds of one kind or another. Mommy said, Eddie, go do some painting for me. Pastor, please come inside. Sue, please make us some tea. Well, while they talked, Eddie did some repairs. He splashed paint on the fence, then he daubed it on the chairs. When he finished painting, he had nothing to do. So he sat and he gazed at the car of dark blue. It was pretty all right, but ever so plain. It was then that the thought popped into his brain. The brushes he'd used on the chairs were still wet, and the cans of paint were not empty yet. Just some yellow here, a bit of white there, some green on the steering wheel, red on the gear. Eddie thought Pastor Brown would be happy to see how bright and exciting his Toyota could be. Eddie daubed and splashed and spluttered, and then he daubed and he splashed and he spluttered again. Ah, yes, now the car looks ever so fine, Eddie thought with a smile, and the artwork's all mine. The pictures all finished. There was one thing to do. Eddie signed with a flourish, by Eddie Larue. Then, while he was putting the paint away, the pastor came out and he heard him say, my car, my brand new car. This time that boy has gone too far. Look at my car. I just got it today. It's ruined. Ruined, I tell you, ruined, I say. The paint won't come off. My car won't be the same. And no question who did it, for there is his name. The boy's a monster, Mrs. Larue. I think you should know. I am going to sue. So Pastor Brown went off in a hurry. He was going to find lawyer and judge and jury. And Mommy too had quite enough. She made up her mind it was time to get tough. Eddie couldn't understand why such a to-do about changing a car to yellow from blue. They don't like art, he was heard to say. So he packed his bags and ran away. Mommy searched and searched for him every place, but the boy had vanished without a trace. Mommy was weak and sick with worry when he finally appeared looking meek and sorry. But Mommy knew it was all a game. She knew that boy was still the same. For all the trouble he caused the Larues, she decided that Eddie should pay his dues. She grabbed his shoulders and shook them rough to show the boy she had had enough. Do you see this boy? My hair is white. You gave me such an awful fright. Why do you never do what you're told? You're making me tired. You're making me old. You're driving me crazy. You're driving me mad. What's a mother to do with a boy who's so bad? Eddie was sorry, and he hung his head, embarrassed and shamed by what Mommy had said. He looked up at her with tears in his eyes, hoping for pity. But he got a surprise. Mommy looked at him hard and shook her head, and with a big sigh, she finally said, Son, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Your big brown eye, but you've got to behave, Master Eddie Larue. Your big brown eyes won't save you this time. You are going to pay for your latest crime. She sat down on her chair, turned him over her knee, and smacked his bottom. 1, 2, 3. And he yelped and cried, and with that she gave him number 4. She licked him once more, and then again and again. Eddie lost count somewhere around 10. When she finally stopped, his bum was quite sore, but Eddie could tell that there was more. He was lectured long and loud that day. He had never before heard her talk that way. Most of the lecture he never heard. With his mind on his bum, he near missed every word. Only when Mommy was almost done did he hear her at all, that naughty son. And don't ever blame your sister Sue for even the smallest thing you do. Now go to your room for the rest of the night. Get going, young man. Get out of my sight. He went to his room feeling trashed through and through. It was a sobering moment for Eddie Larue. And after that beating, he'd always think twice. He knew for his tricks he must pay quite a price. But having twice thought, I really must say, he often went right ahead anyway. And he didn't stop teasing his sister Sue. He put ink in her toothpaste and turned her mouth blue. And before poor Sue could clean up from that mess, Eddie put a big snail and 2 frogs down her dress. He laughed as Sue screamed and ran from the room, then chuckled some more as he inked Mommy's broom. The wheels in his head just wouldn't stop whirling. His little mind engine kept purring and purring. His teachers declared, we must confess. Where he will stop is anyone's guess. He'll make the world different. We know that is true. We're going to keep hearing from Eddie Larue. That's the end of this story. Did you enjoy? Put your hands up.
Of course, put your hands up. That was an amazing story, Auntie Christine. Did everybody enjoy that? I did. Fantastic.
But they're not supposed to follow those instructions from Eddie Larue. They'll get a good smacking.
All right. I remember the days when it wasn't me still, but maybe one of my brothers or so. Yeah, man. Bad like Eddie.
I think Eddie was a gifted child.
And that's good. But like all kids, they create some mischief. And then there is something to be had. All right. So now we're going to give things back over to Auntie Carolyn, okay? Auntie Carolyn?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm ready. Thank you,
All right,
Christine.
over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Auntie Christine. Good job.